What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. Daniel Jeremiah here with Bucky Brooks. And, Bucky, we're in our position previews, and we got the big one today, the quarterbacks.
Most important players on the field, can they get it done? How they perform is often determines what teams are able to go to the playoffs and what they do in the playoffs.
Yeah, we've been rolling through all these positions. The way we do it, one of us takes a top 5 list of quarterbacks or position heading into the season. The other one gives us 3 young guys to keep an eye on. I'll go ahead and do the heavy lifting today. I'll do the 5-1 on my quarterbacks.
Like
you got the young guys, all right?
That's cool.
All right, let's roll here. Russell Wilson comes in at number 5 for me. And you can really make a case he could even be higher than this. And when I look at the traits that kind of set Russell Wilson apart, the first one I came up with is Houdini. I don't know how else you describe some of the stuff he does. His ability to escape and make plays, his touch down the field. For somebody that has a huge arm, which he does, he has tremendous touch down the field. And then just the overall aggressiveness that he plays with, Buck. I mean, you talk about the aggressiveness not just with his arm, but with his legs. He is always in attack mode.
Always in attack mode. And the big thing, I think Russell is kind of the blueprint of the young quarterback in today's game. How you grow from being a game manager to being a playmaker. He is now a playmaker for that offense, and because of that, they can put more on his shoulders. You'll see a more diverse offense, one that leans more on the passing game than the running game before.
It's hard to be efficient and explosive. He's both of those. All right, number 4 for me, Big Ben Roethlisberger. Look, when he's healthy, he's as good as anybody we have in the game. And the things that set him apart, I mean, he's just got such a rare combination of size and talent. But the touch, I think, is vastly underrated. His touch on the deep ball to drop it in the bucket, as you see right there, is big time. The size, it's self-explanatory. He's enormous. He's a tough guy to get on the ground. And then finally, I would say his creativity. Talk about creativity with Russell Wilson. Ben does the same thing, just in a much bigger package.
You know, the funny thing about Ben Roethlisberger, he went from being a guy that really loved to play the game off the script. He didn't necessarily want to be a guy that wanted to play on rhythm in the pocket. He kind of scrambled around and did it. But now, as he's gotten older, Todd Haley's come in. He's been able to be a little more pinpoint when it comes to being a rhythm thrower while still retaining some of that impromptu wizardry about him. I think that's one of the reasons that sets him apart from some of the other guys.
All right, I had those clearly as 4 and 5 for me. When I look at the top 3, man, I went back and forth how to order these guys. I ended up settling with Cam Newton at number 3, Bucky, and I almost regret it. I wish I had the courage to just go ahead and put him right there at the top of the list. Look at the numbers last year. The playmaking ability is what jumps out first and foremost with Cam. He's a dynamic playmaker. The arm strength, look, you can watch him in the preseason. Watch some of these skinny posts he's throwing to Kelvin Benjamin. He has got elite, rare arm strength and arm talent. And then, again, like Roethlisberger, that size. He's a tough guy to get on the ground inside the pocket. And when he's running with the football, as you see, especially when you get down by the goal line, good luck stopping that.
We've never seen anyone like this in the league. A guy who is just as efficient as a passer as he is as a runner. This is a dominant player, a guy who has taken his game up to another level. If the preseason is any indication of what Cam Newton can do, he may surpass what he did during his MVP season last year.
No question. I think he's going to be improved off an MVP. See, that's saying something.
That's crazy.
Oh, my gosh. All right, number 2, Tom Brady for me. This was a tough one, again, coming down to 2 and 1. But Tom Brady, I start with Tom Brady. Look, I just list 3 things. I could list 100 things. First off is just the accuracy. He can put the ball in a mailbox. He's pinpoint accurate. The poise that he displays under pressure, he's always calm. He's always under control. And then the decision-making. Probably, talk about accuracy and decision-making being those 2 key components of the position. He's as good as anybody we have in the game.
Gold standard at the position. He is everything that you look for at the quarterback position. He is a guy who not only has the talent to make all the throws, to do all the things that you want to see, but he raises the level of his teammates' play. And when it comes down to it, if you're in a game and you need to win the game and you're behind, you certainly trust Tom Brady probably more than any other quarterback in the league. That's the guy that I want to build a franchise around.
All right, Buck, my number 1 guy, not coming off his best season, but he's still young. He's got every tool imaginable. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is the most talented quarterback in the NFL with what he can do throwing the football. That quick release jumps out at you, the velocity that he has to be able to make every throw on the field. And then when you talk about the accuracy, he can do that. So he's got that velocity to make those drive throws, cross-body throws, just ridiculous. But then he also has that touch and accuracy that you look for.
Big-time arm talent, a guy that can throw off-platform, has a way of delivering the ball from a bunch of different angles. He raises the level of play. And even though he's coming off a subpar year, I think there are a lot of quarterbacks that would trade in his subpar year for their subpar years. He is a guy that I expect to get back to form. He should be an MVP candidate this year.
All right, Bucky, that's my 5. Did I miss anybody here? Any snubs you have?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying I don't know how you can leave out a guy that had 4 5,000-yard seasons. Drew Brees. Drew Brees, even though he's coming back to the pack, he's a descending player based on his age. I still think he deserves to be in the conversation. His accuracy, his timing, his touch, his ability to kind of find those windows despite being a shorter guy. I love Drew Brees and what he brings to that offense. And when you have Drew Brees and Sean Payton working together, it's nearly impossible to slow down this Saints offense.
All right, Bucky. Well, we disagree on that one. The folks at home, look, there's comments on YouTube down below. Drew Brees, does he belong in this top 5?
I mean, absolutely he belongs.
I'll let the people decide that underneath in the comments. All right, Bucky, I did the veteran guys here. How about 3 rookies to keep an eye on?
3 rookies to keep an eye on. I think this is interesting because when we go into draft, we talk about all these guys. So Jared Goff, to me, comes in at number 3. The number 1 overall pick. I'm still a believer, even though the preseason hasn't put him in his best light. I think he's a guy that you certainly should buy into. Paxton Lynch, someone that I was a little down on in the draft process, but I've been encouraged by what I've seen during the preseason. Big arm talent, mobile, dual-threat playmaker, a guy that is really coming on. I like the fit for him in Denver's offense. But how could I not talk about young quarterbacks without talking about the preseason Hall of Famer? That is Dak Prescott from the Dallas Cowboys.
I know. Preseason HOF on him?
Preseason Hall of Famer. Look, if they were giving out gold jackets for what people do in the preseason, he certainly would already be sized and fitted for one. You talk about his arm strength, his athleticism, his poise. He brings everything to the position. And surprisingly, they didn't want Dak Prescott. They were clamoring for Paxton Lynch first. Connor Cook in the 4th round, couldn't get him. They settle on Dak Prescott. They end up finding probably the maybe successor to Tony Romo at the position. I'm willing to go all in on Dak Prescott.
They were crushed when Kellen Moore got hurt. And they just kind of stumbled into this. I mean, look, they've done a great job of developing him. I think from a mechanic standpoint, he's improved. But when you go back and look at Dak in college now, hindsight being what it is, you look back and say, okay, offensive line wasn't very good.
Yep.
His number 1 receiver, we find out at the Combine, runs 4.9.
Yes.
So he was able to win a lot of football games at Mississippi State with maybe not the best supporting cast around him.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that I wish I could do is sometimes, like, I look back at some reports that I've written about Dak Prescott, and I talked about him having all the championship quarterback qualities that you look for, the poise, the confidence, the intangibles. Then I went back last year and I compared him to Steve McNair in terms of being a rugged playmaker. When you see him now in the position that he's in, because I don't know if he can have the same success outside of Dallas with that big offensive line, the running game, Dez Bryant and others on the outside, but he's certainly a nice fit for what they're trying to get done in Dallas.
And one proposal I would like to make, if the Hall of Fame has the gold jacket, for the preseason, the gold tank top. That's what we're going to hand out. You don't get a jacket, but a nice little fitted tank tee for Dak Prescott. That's what we think. All right, look, Bucky, that's what we think here.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Make sure you leave your comments below on YouTube. Let us know. I want to hear from you.
Yeah, who do you think is right here on that? I want to know if Drew Brees belongs in that top 5 or not. Let us know. That is our quarterback position preview. Again, check out all our YouTube videos. We will preview each position, each division as well here on Move the Sticks.